Good morning, church. I pray that today finds you doing well, prospering in the Lord, and enjoying some of the spring weather we've been blessed with these past few weeks. In my last midweek reflection, I told you that I would give consideration to a number of the attributes of God, since our understanding of our God is a central component of our faith. Last time we looked at the omniscience of God, that is, the truth that God is all-knowing. Today I want to look at a related omni attribute, namely the omnisapience of God. That means God is all-wise. Some listings of the attributes of God do not include omnisapience, preferring instead to speak of God's knowledge and omnisapience as a subset of knowledge. While his wisdom is related to his knowledge, I believe that wisdom is a category distinct and therefore one worthy of separate consideration. In the Bible, words translated knowledge, understanding, and wisdom represent this attribute. In the Old Testament, the word commonly used denotes skill in the art of righteous living. The biblical worldview attests that God has created a moral and spiritual order for the world in which we live. Regarding the issues of living, that order establishes right in the face of wrong, prudence in the face of the foolish, constructive in the face of the destructive, and so on. The real essence of wisdom is spiritual in that it comes from the all-wise God. In the words of Proverbs 9, verse 10, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." Particularly, understanding and wisdom, as they are related to, yet distinguished from, knowledge, are of interest. The great Baptist preacher Charles Haddon Spurgeon made the distinction this way, and I quote, "Wisdom is the right use of knowledge. To know is not to be wise. Many men know a great deal, and are all the greater fools for it. There is no fool so great a fool as a knowing fool. But to know how to use knowledge is to have wisdom." Close quote. For example, one might know all the ins and outs of the law of gravity. That is knowledge. But it is another matter to make decisions about the use of ladders and safety equipment when climbing a tree or working on a roof. That is wisdom. Or one may possess thorough knowledge of computer science and the workings of the internet. But wisdom enters the picture to determine whether that knowledge will be used to create and provide access to useful information, or to steal a person's identity and their financial assets. Of course, God is both all-knowing and all-wise. Not only does he know all things, but he makes the right use of all that he knows. The infinite character of God's wisdom is celebrated in Romans 11:33, where we read these words, "Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments, and unfathomable his ways!" The grace of this truth is that God offers his wisdom to us. James 1:5 tells us, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him." Further, James describes the wisdom we can expect to receive in answer to our asking in chapter 3, verses 17 and 18 of his epistle. There he writes, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, reasonable, full of mercy and good fruits, unwavering, and without hypocrisy." If our wisdom is earthly, filled with bitterness and selfish ambition, as James describes it in that same passage, we know that that wisdom did not come from an all-wise God. Theologian J.I. Packer made the following insightful comment on wisdom. "Not until we have become humble and teachable, standing in awe of God's holiness and sovereignty, acknowledging our own littleness, distrusting our own thoughts, and willing to have our minds turned upside down, can divine wisdom become ours. In the words of wisdom personified in Proverbs 133, "But he who listens to me shall live securely and will be at ease from the dread of evil."